So I'm going to show you how to grid this posterized image and then put another grid on the canvas to draw this posterized image on the canvas. So first, it is important that you have chosen where the words will go. So for my image, let's say that they're going to go below. So that will be important when I lay this out, because if you notice, this image is a square and this canvas is a rectangle. So I need to take that into account. Now, the easiest way to start is with the image. It should be, if you start measuring from the 0 on your ruler, exactly 8 inches wide and exactly 8 inches tall. And so this image looks to be a teeny tiny bit off, a little bit short at the bottom. So I will just make sure that I use the same place to measure from. So to begin, I need to mark 1 inch lines, or 1 inch tick marks starting at 0. Mark at the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, and then the 8 is the edge. I like to use the white border of the paper to do this because sometimes if you have dark ink printing, it's hard to see. Now, with my ruler on the same edge of the image, so I started with 0 here before, I'm going to start 0 down here just in case I make a mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8's the edge. I don't have to mark that. Now that I have 2 marks, I can line them up on the same side of the ruler and connect them with a straight line. Notice I drew dark so that I could see the shiny pencil reflect on the areas that are quite dark. Only do that if you know what you're doing. Notice I wasn't tracing the width of the ruler. I was actually measuring and marking. So you practice this and it should be easy. Now, this corner is going to be my 0 for the other direction of lines. Notice I do have these crop marks to tell me where 0 should be. And using those, it's actually not off. I thought the size was incorrect. So mark at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't have to mark at 8. Move my ruler down. Same thing on the other side, using that crop mark, those little extra lines on the side to line up my 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I can spin my ruler and again make my lines to make perfect squares across this image. Now I have boxes drawn here, but they don't help me unless I also have boxes on here. So this is significantly larger. If I use my ruler, and I'm going to have to move it over, I measure this thing. It was 12 inches there. And then from that mark, it's another 4. That means it's 16 inches. If you're thinking some simple math, 8 inches times 2 equals 16 inches. So the way that I can make the same number of boxes but change the proportion, the size, is by making 2-inch boxes on this canvas so that I will enlarge this, make it bigger as I draw it into those boxes. So the challenge, obviously, of working with a 12-inch ruler is that I won't be able to easily or as easily measure. But the challenge of working with a larger ruler is it gets in the way. So on my organizer, I said my words would be below. Notice on this big, tall rectangle, I have extra space. So if I measure down 16 inches from the top, so that's 12, and that's plus 4 makes 16. I have this extra chunk at the bottom. That's where my words are going to go. So I need to mark that out right now. So I'm going to go to the other side. That's 12 plus another 4 makes 16. Using that, I need to line this up across my paper canvas and draw a line. So this bottom space I'm saving for my words. It is not part of my portrait. Now, of course, if your words were going to be at the top, this is the easy fix. Flip it around, put that section at the top. But mine are going to be at the bottom. So now I need to mark every 2 inches down the edge, and I will have to move my ruler along the way. So what this will look like is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Move my ruler, line that up, the 12 with the 0, and then just mark out the 2. I'm going to do the same thing down the middle because my ruler is so short. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Slide my ruler down, mark the 12 and the 0 lined up, measure out another 2. I need to finish that on the left side, the right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Slide my ruler down, line the 0 up with the 12 mark 2 more inches. Now, if I count the sections in between, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's the same number of boxes I made on my portrait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I can use the same number of boxes to make this image. Now I'm going to go ahead and line these up, and I'm going to have to move my ruler, so this is going to take a minute. So now I have stripes across my canvas that are 2 inches apart, and I need vertical marks to divide this into squares. I'm going to go ahead and line up my ruler on the edge of this canvas and mark at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Leave my pencil there, slide my ruler down, and mark again at the 2. If you notice, it's not actually at the 4-inch mark. It's short by like 1/4 of an inch. The canvas is supposed to be 16 inches, but it's just not. So if you keep your small side on the same side each time, it won't mess you up. Because this is a big space, I'm going to go down about 4 lines, so somewhere near the middle, and I'm going to repeat my marks. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Slide it down and mark again at the 2 so that I can connect these more easily across this giant canvas. Now that I have 3 marks, I can line my ruler up and connect all 3 of them to make squares. All right, so one thing I noticed is drawing on this canvas really dulls my pencil quickly. And also, please realize you can erase on here, no problem. So I had a spot where my ruler dragged a piece of lead across the canvas and messed it up. And I can erase that without an issue. Now, I'm going to be using the boxes on here to redraw things on here bigger, but still in the exact same size and shape. And getting all the different shades of gray. So in my image, I have white, light gray, medium, dark gray, and black. 5 shades of gray. I need to mark out all of those spaces. In the project, we will be discussing different backgrounds. Odds are good you're not going to want to draw your photo background. You can choose to do that, but most people do not. So the good news is I can ignore drawing all this stuff around here behind my person because I'm instead focusing on just their face, their hair, and any part of their body that is visible in the image. I suggest you pick an easy place to start. So I'm going to choose this bottom corner. Looking in this corner, there are a variety of different light gray shapes. If it helps you, outline them to get a sense of kind of how they are spaced and to eliminate tiny details. So there's no need to include every single teeny tiny detail, and redraw things using what we learned about gridding to get those shapes marked in to the box in about the same location as they are in the smaller version. And continue working in that way so that you can locate the various parts. Think of it almost like a paint by number exercise where you will be eventually filling these in with the appropriate shade of gray or color. And right now, your focus is on getting all these spaces marked out. So keep an eye on where it changes from a medium gray to a light gray, or where it changes from a medium to a dark, so that you have continuous spaces to fill in with paint. So these blobs that are the wrinkles on the sweatshirt might be a little challenging for me to follow right now because they're not a recognizable shape. So use the boxes to help you. I would suggest tackling one at a time so you don't get confused about where you are. Kind of like I might be if I keep going without really making sure I've finished off each box. So I'm going to continue working until every square, haha, this one's all black, done, is complete and has all the outline edges of all my shapes onto my canvas.